Hello friend, welcome back. Every dynamic website they have one of the database where you can insert your all the dynamic data into the database, and also from here you read all the data and visible this data in your website. So in Django they have also one of the building database, and this database name is as a SQLite. Like when you install our project, that means our Django project, by default you will get one of the file as a DB and the SQLite. So that is one of the building database for the Django. So here now we will use it. So if you want to use this database, then you have to define that things by the models. So in this section, step by step, I will show you how can create that models and how can working with these models, and with this model how can connect to your database and also read that data and insert that data into the database. So for now we will use that our SQLite this default on the Django database, but here one things. SQLite is not enough for the big project. So if you want to working with the big project, then better to use some of the professional database like as a SQL or the MongoDB. So laterally I will also show you how can working with that SQL. So right now I want to working with Django building one of the database as a SQLite. So if you want to working with this, like if you go to our project, I have already created one of the application in our project area, that is our first applications, right? So every application you will get one of the models, like here you can see that is actually the models. So into this model here you can see also one of the libraries already added. So that is actually one of the building library, and into this library, that means in our models library, all that model related functions, all that model related content is already added in particular that area. So here all that our model related functionality is already added in our models library. So now if you want to compare SQLite with our traditional database, how it should be look like. Like here better I paste some of the code for you. Like here that is our traditional SQL code, and that is our SQLite code. So into the SQL code what exactly we did. Like if you, that is actually as I told you, that is our SQL code. So if you run this code in your SQL database area, then what exactly it should be do? It should be create one of the table names. So table name will be as a person table, and into the person table that have one of the three field. One is the ID field, another is the first name field, another will be as a last name field, right? And ID is also one of the serial type, and you can see that is actually the primary key, that means it will be automatically incremented. And into the first name field, that is our type as a varchar type, and into the varchar type here I define some of the length, that means the 30 character it should be take, and that is also not nullable. Okay, and also there is a last name, and for the last name field, so this field will be as a varchar, and also for this field I have defined that 30 character. Okay friend, so here if you run these commands, if you run this command in your SQL, then it should be created one of the table. Into this table they have the three field, one will be as a ID, first name, and the last name. So now if you compare with these things with this model, that how that things exactly on here. So for this one it should be as a, like first of all that will be one of the class, and class name as a person, one of the class name. So into this class it's inherited with our this model library. So into this model library now it's access our another model, that is our model. Okay, and after that here they have the three variable, one will be as ID, the first name, and the last name. So now into this variable, into the ID with these models, that means with our this models library, into this models library is now accesses some of the type as a auto field and the primary key as a true. That means it should be automatically incremented. And then another variable as a first name, and into the first name in our models library, into this models library here I just simply define some of the character field, and character field will be maximum length as a 30. Okay, so before that was actually varchar as a 30, and here we have to deal with our models, and into this models our character field, and into the character field here you have to define your maximum length. So here I just simply define that maximum character length will be as a 30. And also for the another one, that is our last name variable, in this last name variable with our models library, into this models library they have also one of the type, that is actually the character field type. So into this character field type our maximum length will be as a 30. Okay friend, so that is actually little bit difference both of these. So this will be for our SQL and this will be for our models, and that is our SQLite models. Okay, So I hope it should be very much clear to you. So if you run this class, then automatically it will be created one of the table as a person table, and into this table there will be as a 3 field. One will be as a ID, first name and the last name. Okay friend, and every type, like here there is, I use the auto field type, that is our character field type, that is also the character field type, and here you can see before I have used that models library. So everything is already added in our this model area. For the reasons by default, that is input our this models. Okay, so everything is already on here. So if you want to learn more about that models, they have also one of the official website in your Django, they have also one of the models. So into these models you will get lot of the resources. So we'll actually use these resources. Okay, so we will use these resources. You can see that is actually the also one of the my app person. So here some of the example. So if you want to learn more about it, then so better to actually read this page. So you will get a lot of the resources from here. So we will use it. So we will use everything in our project, like that is our choices. So if you want to use that choices, how can you use it, I will show you that things with the live example. So I will suggest to read this article to increase your knowledge. Okay, so it will be very much helpful to you. So next video I will discuss about how can create these models. Okay, how can create one of the database table, and also how can create some of the field for this one, and also how can insert some of the data into this all that field area. So step by step friend, everything will be very much clear to you. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.